What's up, guys? So what we've got going on today is a long overdue check on the beehive. I literally have not been in that hive since the last video I made where I was in it, and you guys saw that one. And I left the hive with the super box, had only 5 frames in it. So there was a bunch of empty space, and I'm a lot worried that they will have built tons of comb inside those empty spaces and it's gonna be a complete mess. But that's what we're gonna check on today, and I'm going to make 5 more frames with beeswax, and we will take those out and hopefully not have too much of a mess to clean up so I could put these new frames in. But if so, you know, we'll just deal with that when we get there. So here I have a box of natural beeswax. I prefer to use actual beeswax that hasn't been treated with any chemicals or anything rather than the plastic. I just like to keep it as natural as possible. But I have 4, oh, I need 5. But I have 5 super frames here, which I've already wired. So there's 2 wires here down the middle. And the supers are going to be the smaller box on top of the hive that holds the honey and keeps the queen out so that there are no eggs laid when I'm trying to gather honey. But what we need to do is put a thin strip of wax here and affix it to these wires. That way the bees have basically like a starting point of how to start their honeycomb. You do not have to fill this whole frame with wax. In fact, a lot of people just do this first strip because the bees will just fill it in down with their own natural beeswax. I have never used a heat gun for this before. So we're just gonna play it by ear. And this should just break apart. Yep, just like that. And it fits right like that, and then I'll use the heat gun to melt it onto the wires just so that it stays. All right, all done. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. I said I'd never used the heat gun before because when we did this last time, we actually hooked some wires up to a car battery and then obviously ran an electrical current through these metal wires so that the wax just melted onto it itself. It's very unsafe. I don't recommend trying that at home. So this morning, I heard the sound of a sprayer truck coming down the road. My heart stopped. And sure enough, it was our county's vector control, which is basically the bug sprayers of the county, spraying for mosquitoes and gnats and all that stuff that also kills bees. Luckily, this worker saw me in the garden and he drove down the driveway and he was like, "Hey, you got bees?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do. Did you spray them?" He was like, "No, I saw the hive from a couple houses down, so I stopped spraying." And I was like, "Thank you so much." And then he kept going on his way and I watched him, and he went a couple more properties before he started spraying again. Now sometimes with county officials and things like that, you can't really help it if they spray. Of course, I don't ever call like the mosquito squad or anything like that to come and spray for bugs here because I have the bees. But because I live on the river levee, anybody technically can call and ask the county to come out and spray. And then I actually think they do it on a regular basis because the river is so populated with people who go and hang out and things like that. So there's not a whole lot to be done in the way of preventing the area from being sprayed. But luckily this guy did see my hive and stopped, you know, within, I want to say it was like a 500-yard radius of my home. Now, of course, bees can travel up to 2 miles a day in foraging for food. So I'm sure that somewhere along the way, some bees got blasted by the residual pesticide in the air. But for the most part, I am hoping that when we check on them right now, they are alive and healthy and doing well, and the hive looks good. I wouldn't actually be able to tell how many bees we lost because of the amount of bees that leave during the day to go forage. But it was nice to know that he did what he could to mitigate the pesticide in my area because I had the hive. Now at the end of this video, I'll show you guys a website called FieldWatch.com. And he had informed me that he was regularly on that site to see where there were beehives in the area so that he wouldn't spray near them. And I thought that was pretty cool. I've always heard of that site, but I figured that, no offense to county employees, but they just didn't check it. They didn't care. But this guy was really nice to me and nice to my bees. So let's go see if they're still there. Now, my last video, I was curious as to whether or not there was a queen. I know for sure there is now because the bees did not abscond. They've been there for weeks since I last checked them. Let's see if we can find her today. This is good. They didn't build a ton of comb here. So it looks like I can add these honey super frames in here without an issue. Alright guys. Look at that honey. Well, I can definitely say vector control did its job because there are less gnats out here than usual. Although this bee suit does not keep out gnats, and I had one in my suit the entire time. My whole arm is chewed up. I've got a bite there, a bite there. That was terrifying. I thought it was a bee at first because it was buzzing around my ear. It was a gnat. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised that they did not make any extra honeycomb in the bare spaces of the super. So as I was able to put those new frames in rather easily. I didn't have to fight through anything. And I didn't do a full hive inspection. It's really hot. It's like noon and 90 degrees. And I got bit by a bunch of gnats, and frankly, I just wanted to get the frames in there and be done with it. I'll do a full hive inspection probably next week in the cooler part of the morning. But I did see plenty of honey, plenty of nectar, some brood, and pollen. So I am very happy with the progress of this hive. Honestly, any progress would make me happy compared to last year. So this FieldWatch.com is pretty neat. Once you go to the website, it's going to have 4 different things you can check. You're gonna wanna, if you have bees, you're gonna wanna go to For Beekeeper section. And there it's gonna have you create an account, not too much personal information, just your address, your name, your email, etc. And once you've made an account, you can actually register your beehive on the site. So it will ask you for your address or the address of where the bees are located, and then you can either set the beehive or beehives by GPS or manually. What I did was just plug in my address, zoom into my house, and set my beehive manually. I don't know if everyone uses this site. It is pretty neat. But I don't know if like every pesticide company in the US does this. I do know that my county does look at it, so I have made a registry on there just so that they're aware. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know if they'll just stop spraying my whole street or stop spraying within a few hundred yards. Either way, I am thankful for any and all the help that I can get from them, because I can't prevent them from spraying. If someone calls it in and wants it sprayed, they're going to spray. You know, if this river levee is running and, you know, having lots of mosquitoes and gnats is some sort of public safety hazard, they're going to spray. But at least you can be assured that it is registered somewhere, and hopefully the authorities will look at that before they just blindly spray your entire area. And I think my cherry tomato, or my pear tomato, is almost ready. I've actually got several of these bad boys. I think I'm gonna pick one today, and you know what, I'll just pick one right now. Look at how pretty this is. All right, first ripe tomato of the season. Oh, it wasn't ready. Bummer. It's pretty green inside. Still better than a store-bought tomato. And I have decided this tomato I showed you last time that I thought had curly leaf, it does. It still looks okay, it still looks green. Because it's so established and large, it's not gonna die as quickly as the smaller ones do when they get hit. So I'm just gonna leave it in the ground. It's got several tomatoes it needs to ripen. These 2 guys and these guys, and they'll ripen up. So I'm just gonna leave this plant in the ground. It's not gonna do anything besides just slowly wither away. But hopefully I can get at least 5-ish tomatoes out of it before it goes kaput. So that's disappointing. Oh well, got plenty more. I just need them to stop getting hit with curly top. Alright guys, it's hot. I'm gonna go inside and I will catch you on the next one.